Hello, fabulous scholars. I am here to start, I think, what will probably be our final read aloud of the year, but it is my absolute favorite read aloud. There's just one small problem. It's not actually a book, it's a play. And when I read it for the class, usually I have some pictures that I put up to help you picture it in your mind because there's not a lot of description. It's just people talking. That's what a play is. Well, that's not going to work so much from home. So, welcome to my stage. So, fabulous scholars, my absolute favorite read aloud is William Shakespeare's The Comedy of Errors. And comedy just means a play with a happy ending. So as things go wrong in this play, and they are going to go horribly, horribly wrong in this play, you can just be sure that it will have a happy ending. And errors means mistakes, lots and lots of mistakes. So really, the comedy of errors means the play with a happy ending filled with many mistakes. And so that's what we're going to start today. So right here will be our stage. And then I'll still read the book as usual. So to start with, when the curtain opens, you see Duke Solinus and a prisoner, an old man named Aegeon. And then there are some soldiers in the background. They don't really have any lines, but they're there to protect the Duke and watch the prisoner. They're outside, as you can see by all the bushes I put around. No? Okay, we'll pretend. They're outside. And so Aegeon is a very old man, and he is in handcuffs. Can you see his chains? And he says, "Proceed, Solinus, to procure my fall, and buy the doom of death and woes and all." Now, scholars, you might be thinking, Ms. Lund, what is this? That's not English. It is, but it's Shakespearean English. So the point is, just listen to it. I'll translate, make sure you understand. Basically, Aegeon is just saying, okay, Duke, do your worst. I am ready to die because I've been so sad for so long. Whatever punishment you're going to give me, it can't be worse than just being sad all the time. And immediately, I hope you're wondering, why is he sad, Miss Lund? What's going on? Well, let's find out. So now the Duke is very confused because usually when people are going to be punished with death, they don't say, let's get this on, let's get going on this. They're like, please don't kill me, please. I'll do anything. Just don't kill me. And Aegeon is not doing that. So the Duke stands up very royal and he says, "Merchant of Syracusa." So now we learn that Aegeon is a merchant from the city of Syracusa. "Plead no more. I am not partial to infringe our laws." So, merchant of Syracusa, stop begging. I am not going to change our laws. He wasn't begging to change the laws, right? He was just saying, let's get this going faster. The Duke, keeps talking. "The enmity and discord which of late sprung from the rancorous outrage of your Duke to merchants, our well-dealing countrymen, who, wanting guilders to redeem their lives, have sealed his rigorous statutes with their bloods, excludes all pity from our threatening looks." Okay, so he is saying that the ruler of Syracusa, another Duke, has not been acting very fairly when travelers show up in Syracusa and they're like, "Oh, look at beautiful Syracusa. It's lovely. I really enjoy my time here." "What? Oh, I'm from Ephesus." Ah! The Duke of Syracusa doesn't like anybody from Ephesus. They either have to give him all their stuff or they get killed. And so the Duke is like, see, it's your Duke's fault for having that law. "For since the mortal and intestine jars twixt thy seditious countrymen and us, it hath in solemn synods been decreed, both by the Syracusians and ourselves, to admit no traffic in our adverse towns." So we finally came to this agreement. Nobody from your town, Syracusa, gets to come to my town, Ephesus, and nobody from my town, Ephesus, gets to show up in your town, Syracusa. "Nay more," continues the Duke, "if any born at Ephesus be seen in Syracusian marts and fairs, again, if any Syracusian born come to the bay of Ephesus, he dies." Basically, if you're from Ephesus and you go to Syracusa, you're going to be killed. And if you're from Syracusa, like Aegeon is, and you show up in Ephesus, like Aegeon did, the punishment is death. The two cities are not getting along. And the Duke finishes up explaining everything to Aegeon, why he's got to die, and he says, "His goods confiscate, to the Duke's dispose, unless 1,000 marks be levied, to quit the penalty and to ransom him." So there's only one way to escape death, and that is to pay 1,000 marks. That's like saying 1,000 gold coins, which is a ton of money, and then you can keep your life. "Thy substance, valued at the highest rate, cannot amount unto 100 marks. Therefore, by law, thou art condemned to die." So, Aegeon, we looked at all the money you have. You don't even have 100 gold coins, let alone 1,000. So the law says you have to die. So now we know what's going on and why the Duke is saying, Aegeon, you have to die. He didn't really do any crimes. He just landed in the wrong city. And because he's from Syracusa, the punishment is death. I hope right now you're thinking, that's not fair. I'm thinking the same thing. Just remember, it's the play with a happy ending. So hang on. All right, so then Aegeon is trying to explain to the Duke, he's not asking to change the laws. He wants to die. Let's move it along. And so Aegeon says, "Yet this my comfort, when your words are done, my woes end likewise with the evening sun." So yeah, when you stop talking, then my sadness will end because my life will end when the sun sets. And now the Duke is confused. He's finally heard Aegeon, and instead of pleading for his life, Aegeon's saying, can we do this any sooner? Which is not what people usually do. And so now the Duke is confused, and he's trying to figure it out. And he says, "Well, Syracusian, say in brief the cause, why thou departest from thy native home, and for what cause thou came to Ephesus." All right, merchant from Syracuse, I have to know, why did you come here? Why did you leave home and come here? Tell me. And Aegeon just kind of droops, and he sighs, and he says, "A heavier task could not have been imposed than I to speak my griefs unspeakable." You could not have asked me to do a harder job, Duke. There's nothing in the world harder than for me to tell you all the reasons that I'm sad, which is why I'm here. "Yet that the world may witness that my end was wrought by nature, not by vile offense. I'll utter what my sorrow gives me leave. I don't want to tell the story, but I will, because I don't want anybody thinking that I'm dying because I'm a criminal. I want them to know what really happened to me." So then there's a brief change in scenery and in lighting, because now we're going into Aegeon's memories. So he, for a moment, is not thinking about his death. He's thinking about his life and what has happened to him. "In Syracusa was I born and wed." So I was born in Syracusa and married in Syracusa, so now he has a wife. "Unto a woman happy but for me, and by me had not our hap been bad." So we were very happily married. "With her I lived in joy, our wealth increased by prosperous voyages I often made to Epidamnum." So we were very wealthy, and because I'm a merchant, I often sailed to a city called Epidamnum and did business there, and I was making a lot of money. So things are going really, really well for us. "Till my factor's death, and the great care of goods at random left, drew me from the kind embracements of my spouse." So something went a little bit wrong with the business, and I had to go and take care of it. So I had to leave home for a little bit, business trip. "From whom my absence was not 6 months old, before herself, almost fainting under the pleasing punishment that women bear, had made provision for her following me, and soon and safe arrived where I was." So I went on a business trip, and my wife, who's going to have a baby, quickly followed me because she didn't want to stay home alone. So now we're both in Epidamnum, and things are going really well. And he continues, "There had she not been long, but she became the joyful mother of 2 goodly sons." So she gave birth to twin boys. And which was strange, the one so like the other, as could not be distinguished but by names. So she gave birth to identical twin sons. They are so like, the only thing different about them is their names. That very hour, and in the self same inn, a mean woman was delivered of such a burden male, twins both alike. Here's the crazy part of my story. The same place that we were staying, the same inn, there was another woman, a very poor woman, and she also was pregnant, and she also gave birth to 2 sons, exactly alike. Huh, what's the odds of that happening? My wife had twins, she had twins, they're all boys. My 2 sons look exactly alike, her 2 sons look exactly alike. Craziness. Those, for their parents were exceeding poor, I bought and brought up to attend my sons. So this family was very, very poor. They couldn't afford to have children. So Aegean adopted those 2, and he was going to bring them up to be servants to his sons. Not quite how adoption works today, but remember this was written in Shakespeare's time, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So now they have 4 sons, all born on the same day, 2 sets of identical twins. My wife, not meanly proud of 2 such boys, made daily motions for our return home. So my wife is really proud of all our kids, and she's like, we have to go home. We got to show the grandparents, we got to tell our friends. We have all these beautiful children, and nobody has seen them yet. Makes sense to me, right? But Aegean continues with his memories. Unwilling, I agreed. Alas, too soon, we came aboard. So finally I agreed, yes, it's time to go home, but that was the worst decision I ever made. Terrible, terrible decision. As soon as we boarded the boat, I knew we were in trouble. We'll find out why next time, scholars. I hope you've enjoyed the beginning of my favorite read aloud. See you next time. Bye.